Personal complexity is awesome. So a few weeks ago I was invited by one of my friends to attend an open mic hosted by sort of a regionally famous musician. It's held at sort of a redneck bar. I've not ever really been in a bar where I felt like I belonged, but especially at this establishment, I feel like I don't belong. Most of the people who go there, most of the people who were playing at the open mic were big country music fans, and I myself was raised on top 40 country music in my early childhood, and so there's a lot of things that I enjoyed. There was a very good rendition of Guitar Town by Steve Earle, also things like Fishing in the Dark that really I thought were awesome. But this regionally famous musician at one point started playing a song, and I recognized the chord structure. It was kind of odd for a country song, and I couldn't place it immediately. And then he started singing, and I realized it was a song from Son Volt's first album. And I was really kind of blown away. To my knowledge, Son Volt's never gotten country radio airplay, but here was this guy whom I was expecting to play just classic rock and top 40 country, and he was playing one of my favorite songs by probably one of my favorite groups, at least during one point in my life. And it frustrated me that I had failed to imagine him complexly. I have a tendency to assume that if people like music I don't like, they also don't like music that I do like, but that's a false assumption. It reminded me that there aren't simple people in the world, that everyone out there is as complex as I am. That complexity is not always articulated in their tastes, but it's always present. Another challenge with personal complexity is allowing yourself to be a complex person and imagine yourself complexly, and especially your tastes. I have a friend who I loaned a copy of Watchmen and Ronin. She didn't really enjoy Watchmen. She apparently doesn't like superheroes, but she was capable of giving them a chance and imagining herself complexly enough to think that she could really enjoy comic books. The way that personal complexity is shown in different media really impresses me sometimes. A great example of this is the television show Lost. Now, there's a lot of people who love Lost, and there's a lot of different reasons that people love Lost. Some people really get into trying to figure out, where and when the island is, and who the different characters represent, and what the smoke monster is, and things of that nature, all of the conspiracy elements of the show. And that's something I really never got into with the show because those aren't things that appeal to me. The reason I'm interested in science fiction and fantasy is because I like to see relatable, realistic characters react realistically in unrealistic environments. And Lost has those sort of characters and those sort of environments. Where Lost excels with characterization is in not giving you the tools to imagine characters complexly until you're forced to imagine them complexly. A great example of this is Michael, and without giving too much away, Michael is the parent of a child whom he didn't raise. The way you're introduced to Michael, you think of him as this struggling father who's just trying to do the right thing and is trying to do right by his son. But at one point, Michael perpetuates a very violent act that seems out of character for him. But when considered in the context of his love for his son and his struggle to do right by him, it does make sense. And that's what I love about Lost, is that basically every character is complex, and the exposition of their complexity is slow and deliberate, and you're shocked by things that you shouldn't be because you don't understand the characters. Ultimately, watching Lost is an exercise in imagining people complexly. Lost is way too big to fit in the doobly-doo, so I can't really put a link to it, but it is available to stream on Netflix, and it's probably elsewhere on the internet if you want to be a pirate. So I just urge you to imagine other people complexly, be they fictional characters or real people in your life. Meanwhile, you can subscribe, and I will see you later.